Hi everyone, welcome to The Simple Truth with Bill and Bobby, and
Yeah.
good to have you with us again, and we look forward to sharing some things that we've been discussing and
Yeah.
talking about, and spent some time last night going through some scriptures, and we were just thinking about the very famous passage of, redeeming the time because the days are evil, and you did some research on that and kind of realized it wasn't about just not wasting time, which that's important that we don't waste time, but it wasn't about being more productive in our time, but actually redeeming situations.
Yeah.
And so we'd like to kind of entitle this series, redeeming situations, or
Yeah, buying them
situations.
back.
Yeah, buying them back.
Yeah.
All the situations and things that we face in life. So you want to share a
Well,
little bit?
when you left for work, we were just praying about what to share next, and you said, why don't you take a look at
Yeah.
what it means to redeem the time? And I said, yeah, sure. And of course, it's the passage that I've read many, many times. When I read it in context yesterday, I said, wait, what I have always thought this meant, it doesn't really mean that.
No.
It's so much deeper than that.
Yes. And and we can read that passage to kind of get you up to speed. Ephesians chapter 5, verse 14 says, there, Paul writing, and he's writing to one of the best churches of the 7 churches in the book of Revelation. I guess, it's not that they were a bad church, but evidently there was some that were sleeping spiritually. This is not talking about natural sleep or death. Awake you who sleep, and arise from the dead, and Christ will give you light. See then that you walk circumspectly, not as fools, but as wise, redeeming the time, because the days are evil. Therefore, do not be unwise, but understand what the will of the Lord is. So as I realized, as we looked at these, and through our study, we realized that situations is what he's talking about here, not just saving time or stop wasting time, which we can talk about that some other time. But the Greek word here for time is the Greek word kairos, and then there's another word for time, which is chronos. So chronos is a simple definition. It's time is marching on. It's 11 o'clock, then it's 12 o'clock, and it's today, and then it's tomorrow. But kairos is these special times during chronos time, is these special times, encounters with God, encounters with others, and situations and circumstances. And I want to submit, or we want to submit to everyone's thinking, is how many circumstances and situations play out during Kronos time. What if we had Kairos living
In that Kronos
with
time.
those people and with God? Would the situation be different?
Okay, so Kairos time is the time that God lives in, right?
And the time that he wants us to live in.
Right.
And so
But we're living day by day as humans
yeah.
in the Kronos time.
Yeah, time is
going
marching on the
on.
calendar. And
But he wants that Kairos time to be in that Kronos time.
Yeah. And I think, we as we talked about this, and it's a little hard to explain, but every situation, everything that Jesus did was redemptive in nature. Well, it's, the 3 things that I think about a lot is I want to be with him, I want to be like him, and I want to do the things that he did.
Yeah.
So everything he did was redemptive. A quick example would be John chapter 8, where the Pharisees had gone and found this woman that was caught in adultery and brought her and threw her down in front of Jesus. And Jesus, wrote on the ground. We're not sure what he wrote, but here was a situation that he redeemed. And so I love what Abraham Lincoln said. He said, it's not ours or up to us to create opportunity, but it's up to us to be ready when opportunities come.
Yeah.
And so Jesus, as we all realize, was more than ready for any situation that came. And he now redeems the situation and the woman. And he says, you know, hey, everyone who is without sin, you cast the first stone. And they all left. And then he said, you know, where are your accusers? And she said, Lord, they're all gone. And he said, neither do I condemn you, but go and sin no more. So not only was her life spared from being stoned, but also it was redeemed, we believe, from that lifestyle. And her life was saved physically and spiritually. And he says, go and sin no more.
What a thing for him to have said to the crowd. You who is without sin, cast the first stone.
And
I mean, that phrase had to come straight from the throne of God.
And,
I mean, you know,
stoning was a pretty prevalent thing.
How would you think of saying that in that moment unless you have spent time and you were in the Kronos at that moment?
Well, you know, in Colossians, and we'll use this in the next segment, it said, you know, that wisdom would begin to come into our life. And that we would be able to redeem those that are outside of the kingdom. And so wisdom comes through this prayer life and this living out of the easy yoke. Jesus said, come and live out of the easy yoke with me. And so we end up, and I love this, I heard someone say, when Jesus was on the cross and he, you know, suffering immensely, of course, and all of the crowd, and he said, you know, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. And this guy said, you know, Dallas Willard said, that's who he was in that situation. He didn't have to say, well, you know, I should forgive them, or he could have said, you wait and see, God will judge and kill all of you all, and you'll see that I'm right. But everything he did was redemptive. Remember, the centurion said, surely we have crucified the Son of God. This was a righteous man. And so that whole, everything that you and I do should be redemptive in nature. Every situation that we go into should be redemptive in nature. And so Jesus redeemed this woman. And if we live in the Kronos time, that means we're present with God. We're living in the easy yoke with Him. We're living in the secret place with Him. Living in continual communion. You know, try this. This is a spiritual exercise that you and I can develop. And the next thing you know, wisdom begins to develop in our lives. Then when we're thrown into situations, or situations are thrown at us, we are going to have something redemptive, prophetic to say or to do for that person.
Yeah, when you say try this, it just reminded me of like when you're in a clothing store and you look at a piece of clothing and you say, I've never worn anything like that. I'm not sure if I can.
Try it on.
So, but you know, our tendency is put it back on the rack. I've never worn anything like this, so I don't really think, I don't know if I can or not. So I'm going to put it back. Instead of taking it in the dressing room and giving it a try. Why not give it why not try it on? You know, why not put it on and
I
see?
think try on Kronos living. You know, don't go through your whole life with just Kronos. You know, clicking off time, and when I retire, I'll do this and do that. But living in the moment now, which is not only redeeming our life, but everyone we're with. It will have a redeeming quality, and we'll be buying back situations that could have gone really bad, people that could stay lost. And now we'll have to pick up here next time.
We'll keep going here. We're just, I think we're just kind of scratching the surface here.
Amen.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Sounds
We'll
good.
see you next time.
All right. Thanks for listening.